He joins one of the leading academies on the island and becomes its top student on his first day. Hiroto Shinohara is a smart but otherwise average guy with a goal to meet his childhood friend who is somewhere on the prestigious Academy Island. An island full of top-grade students and colleges where students' lives are supported by the latest technology provided by one of the leading companies in Japan, the Saionji Corporation. On this island, students are allowed to challenge and compete with each other in various self-defined games to earn stars that determine their ranking. The highest rank anyone can achieve is the singular title of the 7-star. Hiroto takes up the entry exam for the MA Academy, which is one of the top 5 academies on the island, and manages to barely qualify with passing marks. He arrives at the island and finds himself lost. While struggling with the Maps application on his device, he meets Sarasa Saionji, the current 7-star of the Sakura Academy and the granddaughter of the head of the Saionji Corporation. As their eyes meet, Hiroto gets lost in them and thinks just how pretty she is. Sarasa breaks his mesmerized stare by asking if he needed something. Hiroto tells her that he is new on the island and is looking for the way to MA Academy. Sarasa tells him that it is in District 4 and currently they are in District 3. After that, she helps him with the map and tells him to not be so formal as they are both second-year students and of the same age. Hiroto asks how Sarasa knew that, and she explains that using our device we can see others' name and academy information, but only if they are of lower rank than us. Then she says that he should have known all this already as it is part of the tutorial when we get our devices. Hiroto says that he is the kind of guy who finds tutorials boring and skips through them. Sarasa finds that dumb and funny and tries to explain the device's functions and features to him. After that, she offers to walk him to the entrance of the big plaza in District 4 as it's nearby. They walk to the plaza, but then the academy bells ring. Sarasa says that they have afternoon orientation as well, so she must go now. As she turns around and walks back, one of the sprinklers in the lawn beside her sprays her with water and completely drenches her clothes. Somehow, Sarasa thinks that it was a trap all along and Hiroto wanted to humiliate her. She says that it was suspicious that he was in District 3 and didn't know his way despite having a device. Hiroto tries to explain that it wasn't a trap and he was speaking the truth, but Sarasa doesn't listen to him and challenges him to a game. Liar! Liar! Hiroto agrees and says that when the game's over, she must listen to him. Sarasa agrees and tells him to send a game request. Hiroto asks how to do that, and Sarasa, still convinced that he was acting, shows him how to send a game request. Hiroto sends her a blank game request without meaning to because he's new and accidentally pressed the button. Usually the lower-ranked player is allowed to set the game's details, but receiving a blank request, Sarasa takes it as a challenge from Hiroto. Sarasa sets up the details and starts the game of turn-based staring contest in hard mode. She then starts explaining the rules for the game. Both participants will get 1 minute for their turn. When it's their turn, they must do anything to make the other party show any expression on their face. Similarly, on their own turn, they must refrain from showing any emotion. The one who fails to do so first loses the game. After that, Hiroto says okay and asks to start the game. Sarasa asks him if it's really alright because he hasn't even set his abilities yet. Hiroto has no idea what those are, obviously. Sarasa explains that players can use different abilities during games to gain an advantage. You unlock more abilities as you gain more stars, and during a match, one can use up to 3 distinct abilities. Hiroto plays along and says he will be fine without them. This infuriates Sarasa even more as she feels like Hiroto is looking down on her. The game starts and Sarasa uses her first ability, Numerical Adjustment level 7, to limit Hiroto's turns to 1/10 of their original period. That's 6 seconds per turn if you are wondering. Hiroto's turn ends and Sarasa's begins. She uses her second skill, Creation EX, to create an energy blade. She then uses it to strike Hiroto, who keeps barely dodging them while keeping a poker face. Their game starts attracting a lot of attention as a crowd of students form around them. As the game goes on, Sarasa feels glad that her clothes are drying and now she won't have to go to the orientation all wet. But just then, she aligns with another sprinkler on the lawn that splashes her with water, completely soaking her. Sarasa feels devastated as she thinks about going up on the stage for the orientation speech in drenched uniform, as well as all the strangers looking at her from the crowd right now. She feels totally embarrassed and tells everyone to stop looking. As it is her turn now, the system detects embarrassment and disqualifies her immediately, making Hiroto the winner of the game. The crowd looks in awe as the 7-star Empress Sarasa Saionji loses her first ever game to a complete newbie. She turns around and tells Hiroto to leave her alone. Just then, a butler arrives with a car and tells Hiroto that the headmistress of the MA Academy would like to see him. In the office, the headmistress tells Hiroto that he is in a lot of trouble. She tells him who Sarasa was and that the leader of the Saionji Corporation might want to seek revenge from him if he finds out that someone as underwhelming as Hiroto defeated his granddaughter by cheating. She then tells him that she can help him resolve the situation if he follows her instructions. She will make him a 7-star by using the unique abilities of the star that Hiroto won from Sarasa. Unlike the normal white stars, this one is a red star which has the ability to let its owner tell one lie. Using that, Hiroto can lie about being a 7-star, and this will resolve the matter as he would be considered someone equal in abilities to Sarasa Saionji, the former 7-star. She reveals that she knows about this ability of the red star because long ago, she was the holder of the red star as well. Hiroto agrees to her plan to act like the strongest player on the island and gives a cocky and flamboyant speech as the new representative of the academy and challenges everyone on the island and tells them that he will rule above them all. After his speech, Hiroto wonders how he will keep this lie up and not lose any game moving forward. While waiting by the road, he is pulled aside by Sarasa, who pins him against the wall and asks him what he is after. She tells him that he took advantage of her and put himself in the spotlight, yet he hasn't told anyone about her secret. She then tells him that she is confused and with tears in her eyes asks him to not tell anyone about her secret. She then says that he knows about her already because he has the red star, that she is not the real Sarasa Saionji. Her real name is Akabane Rina, and she has been winning games for 1 whole year as Sarasa Saionji, but now she has lost and Hiroto knows her secret. Hiroto reveals that he has completely no idea what she is talking about and that he was telling the truth all along. He really just arrived at the island yesterday and still doesn't know how to use the device. He tells her that he is actually a 1-star now after winning his match against Sarasa, and he is using the ability of the red star to tell the lie of being a 7-star.
Maji.
Hearing this, Sarasa looks in disbelief as she realizes that she just revealed her secret to him and that she actually lost to a newbie. At the same time, Hiroto realizes that he didn't have to go along with the headmistress's plan of acting as a 7-star because Sarasa isn't the real granddaughter of the Saionji family. After that, Hiroto goes to his dorm and finds out that his dorm is actually a massive mansion. He goes inside and is greeted by a short girl dressed as a maid. The girl introduces herself as Himeji Shirayuki from Sakura Academy. On special request from the headmistress of District 4, she will be Hiroto's live-in assistant. Hiroto asks her to take a seat and they talk about Shirayuki's position and their distastefulness towards the headmistress. After that, they have a meal prepared by Shirayuki and Hiroto tells her to join him on the table. He tells her that her cooking is especially delicious and they both enjoy their meal. After that, they both sit down in the hall to discuss their plan moving forward to keep Hiroto's lie as the 7-star rolling. Shirayuki starts the meeting by explaining that there are a total of 21 districts on the island from 0 to 20, and besides District 0, every district has 1 academy. Each year, these academies compete for the top position on the ranking leaderboard. Based on their ranks, the academies are provided with special benefits. Students with 5 or more stars are considered advanced students, and their number contributes towards the ranking of the academies. Because Hiroto is actually a 1-star, he has very basic and limited abilities unlike the former 7-star player Sarasa. To help him win all games and keep his title as the strongest player on the island, Shirayuki and the company will help him by hacking and cheating under the radar. By now, Hiroto has received a lot of game invites for defeating the Empress. To test the capabilities of the company, Shirayuki picks an invite for Hiroto to accept as a tutorial for his games with the company's help. After that, she gives Hiroto an electronic earbud to communicate with the head of electronics of the company, Kagaya-san. After that, Hiroto's daily life as the only 7-star and the strongest player on the island begins. He goes on to defeat several players with the help of the company. At the academy, he becomes popular and gets attention from a lot of people. He quickly makes friends with the president of Class 2A, Tatara Fuka, and a fellow classmate Tsuji Yuki as well. At the academy, he receives a message from Shirayuki telling him that she has picked a favorable game request for Hiroto to accept. The challenger is Urasaka Haru, a 3rd-year student from District 11. Hiroto accepts the challenge and their match is held and broadcasted from a grand arena on the island. The announcer introduces Haru as a 3-star player who loves bikes, visual K-bands, and road trips. Their match attracts a massive crowd of students, and even Sarasa shows up to watch them. After that, the announcer tells Haru to tell the details of the game. The game Haru chooses is called Anything Goes 100-meter race. So creative, right? From start to finish, any transportation method is allowed. After they both shit-talk to each other a little bit, Haru starts the game by summoning her over-the-top modified heavy bike that can almost qualify as a space rocket. To everyone's surprise, Hiroto plans to compete in the race on foot. The countdown begins, and as soon as it hits 0, Haru shoots off on her bike towards the endpoint. But halfway through, her bike suddenly stops and she goes flying, falling on a cushioned platform on the side. Hiroto simply walks to the end goal and wins the race. After that, he boasts that he is the 7-star player and explains how he won against Haru. We see that during their pre-game meeting, Shirayuki tells Hiroto about Haru's 3 abilities: remove speed limit, acceleration, and safety device. She then explains that she will most likely take a defensive ability, nullify interference instead of a safety device to prevent any interference from Hiroto. To counter that, she makes Hiroto pick the lesser-known complete disable ability in all 3 of his slots. Being a lower level, he would need that to disable Haru's nullify interference ability. After that, the company will use their hacking to make Hiroto win. On stage, Hiroto explains that for his first ability, he took complete disable level 7 to nullify Haru's defenses. In his second slot, he took force stop to make her stop. And like a Giga Chad, in his third slot, he took the safety device ability to make sure that the falling Haru wouldn't hurt herself.
Nice going, King!
After the match, Sarasa comes to congratulate Hiroto on his win and tells him to meet her at a secret place later. Later, Hiroto meets Sarasa in the underground cafe, where she tells him about her secret in detail. She tells him that the real Sarasa was kidnapped a little over a year ago, so to see what the kidnappers would do, they made her take Sarasa's place and act as her. No one knows when the real Sarasa will come back, as the kidnappers have made no demands as of yet. So until the real Sarasa returns, she is to act as her and keep a good reputation on the island. She then tells him that she needs Hiroto's help to keep her secret hidden, and to make that happen, he must never lose the red star. It also works in Hiroto's favor because if her secret gets leaked, then the head mistress would know that the one who Hiroto defeated wasn't Sarasa Saionji, but her, Akabe Rina. And then she won't help Hiroto stay on the island either. Hiroto agrees, and they exchange device IDs to stay in touch.